As a short preamble, you should be warned that this is a highly subjective and opinionated video. If you like a cosmetic that appears, then that's okay, as you are entitled to your opinion. This video should not be taken too seriously. Funka said it best by saying, "I just find awful loadouts more funny than upsetting today." Much like how people can appreciate The Room even though it's bad.
Oh, hi Mark.
One can view bad TF2 Cosmetics in this way. But of course, not every cosmetic deserves this level of charitability, as this video will demonstrate. In any case, I hope you get something out of this video. Top 10 Worst Team Fortress 2 Cosmetics that are complete donkey aids and give you instant testicular torsion upon viewing. Seeing these cosmetics with your eyeballs gives them cancer. These cosmetics are so bad people with weak constitutions will diarrhea shit themselves everywhere. Coming in at number 10, the ICU. An item that could have been amusing Halloween restricted is now available all year round. Worn primarily by Redditors trying to make a silly hacking set, except it often falls flat, because you've seen a gorillion other people doing the same thing. You'll often find them doing some kind of silly strategy such as Gun Spy, Trollder or Fat Scout. Reminiscent of old slapstick cartoons wherein characters' eyes would often pop out of their head, undermining TF2's subtle absurdity in favor of being overly wacky. It's poorly modeled with respect to the typical tricount of other cosmetics, being slightly over-detailed and textured with a gradient in an unsatisfying way. Clipping poorly with other cosmetics and even existing features of the default mercenary models. Also being available for the pyro, despite him having no visible eyes or a way for them to escape his presumably airtight gas mask. They just haphazardly phase through his goggles. Number 9 goes to the festive cover-up. If there was ever an award for laziest cosmetic, this would be a top contender. Looking like it came straight from a 2013 mobile game, the texture work is oddly grainy and the modeling serves to occlude Spy's head shape. It probably took as much time to model then texture as it did to come up with. Somehow having required the combined effort of 2 people to create. Yes, really. It's frankly insulting this was added. A theme for the rest of the cosmetics in this video. It's the type of cosmetic a new player would unbox and only wear out of obligation and regret, making them stick out like a sore green thumb. The best way to describe this cosmetic would be pathetic. Pathetic in its presentation, pathetic for having wasted some poor kid's pocket money, and pathetic for Valve to have looked at yet still added. For how garish it is, ironically the paint region is its best aspect. Restricted to the team-colored baubles only. Moving on. Taking the number 8 spot as a double feature is the Pathfinder and Justice Johns. The moment you equip these cosmetics, soldier immediately becomes diabetic. Symptoms can include increased inflammation, bloating, and lackluster community updates. Had someone at Valve open their eyelids when selecting update cosmetics, assuming it's not done by a bot, they could have prevented Soldier from joining the other mercenaries in obesity. Specifically with the Justice Johns, you can tell where they attempted to model over the folds created by Soldier's trousers as they tuck into his boots, resulting in calves the size of his thighs. In fact, they're probably larger and will require amputation due to cutting off his circulation at the inseam of his shorts. Worse still, the Pathfinder had to model over Soldier's entire jacket sleeve. The result is a forearm that genuinely looks like a sausage link, because it tapers off at each of his joints, giving the Soldier beastly forearms even thicker than his upper arm, somehow making his cartoonishly proportioned hands look small. All of this is without mentioning how hideous the cosmetic itself already is, having countless clipping issues, being modeled poorly, flexing exacerbating both previous issues and just generally not looking like the Soldier. View these cosmetics from any angle other than directly face on and it looks like a different character. The only things that keep this cosmetic tolerable in-game are how distinct each class's locomotion and animations are, as well as the established shape language of each class being so distinct that this cosmetic and many others unfortunately bastardize. We could spend all day pointing out flaws in this cosmetic, such as how the gloves look painted on, or how much of original team color is occluded, but the soldier told me he really needs to take his insulin, so we'll move on. Inserting itself at number 7 is the Bottler 2000. There's many issues with this cosmetic, but Peter Griffin said it best.
There's one more secret I feel I have to share with you. I did not care for the
embargo.
What?
Did not care for the
embargo.
How can you even say that, Dad?
Didn't like it.
Peter, it's like the perfect payload nap.
This is what everyone always says whenever they say
Odyssey, Applejack, Hartdull, Kakura.
No, fine.
Maps.
Did not like the
Tropic Crisis.
What didn't you like about it?
It insists upon itself, Lois.
What?
It insists upon itself.
What does that even mean?
It takes forever getting in. You spend like 6.5 hours, and then I can't even get through. I can't even finish the movie. I've never even seen the ending.
You've never seen the ending?
Well, how can you say you don't like it if you haven't even given it a chance?
I agree with Stewie. It's not really fair.
I get to the scene where all the guys are sitting around on the easy chairs.
Yeah, it's
and
a great scene. I love that
It's
scene.
been
not a
noted
great-
in every annal.
I have no idea what they're talking about. It's like they're speaking a different language. That's where I lose interest and
You
I
know
go
what,
away.
Peter?
Custom voice lines.
The language they're speaking is custom voice lines. Something you don't understand.
I love.
Aquarius.
That is my answer to that statement.
Whatever.
Brokering itself to the number 6th spot is the 2 Fortnite. This cosmetic is the worst as far as promotional cosmetics go. Like how Batman responds the moment he sees the bat signal, Valve responds the moment they see the money signal.
Money!
The 2 Fortnite was created for a contest along with many other Batman-themed cosmetics. Quite literally being a one-to-one translation of the helmet worn by a character from the game Batman, Arkham Knight. The creator fruitlessly attempted to remodel it to be less detailed. But they may as well have just ported it directly from the game. This cosmetic clashes incredibly hard with TF2's setting, arguably even worse than previous cosmetics on this list. For instance, while the festive cover-up is lazy, somebody in the 1960s or 70s could have made it. But the 2 Fortnite is clearly made of various exotic materials, such as LEDs, that weren't common if accessible at all. So when put inside TF2's world, which doesn't contain these materials, it sticks out. This is without mentioning how over-detailed it is like its original representation, being weirdly smooth like the creator's brain. Upon equipping it, your forehead grows substantially, perhaps because its futuristic technology lends you an extra chromosome. Indeed, this cosmetic doesn't fit on any mercenary's head and is oversized, being proportioned for a real human. The perplexing thing about this cosmetic and other Batman-related promotional cosmetics is that they could have been slam dunks. Isn't it obvious? Base them on the 60s television show, which already shares a time period and similar humor to TF2. A Scout cosmetic set realized this, but the rest of the cosmetics ended up being tacky, or directly translating something from the Batman Arkham series. This cosmetic represents the cynical nature of promotional cosmetics. Especially at the time, Valve would use TF2 like a bargaining chip to get companies on board with Steam. As a consequence, TF2 got to be the landfill used to contain promotional garbage. Moving on. Earning its spot at number 5 is the Mary Cone, already infamous for being a bad cosmetic. Deservedly so, mostly fueled by the bad orange man who is literally Hitler or something. If there was ever an award for laziest TF2 cosmetic, then this would win. It's like the festive cover-up was given steroids. Halloween restrictions should have set the precedent for eyesores like this to have their own holiday restriction, but unfortunately it never happened. So we get to look at it all year round. To avoid repetition, know that every negative aspect of the festive cover-up is applicable here. But that's not all. A common trope with bad cosmetics is their poor scaling, being either too small or too large, the Mary Cone being the latter. Comparing it to the party hat, you can see how comically oversized it is, covering the whole top of each mercenary's head. And of course you can paint the whole thing, putting the festive cover-up to shame. What's baffling is that head-worn Santa cones aren't a concept in real life, being something invented purely to be a cosmetic in TF2, as opposed to a remodeled party hat with a different texture or some Christmas lights, like other cosmetics. It's mocking, likely made to look stupid on purpose. Another issue it represents is with cosmetics in general for TF2. which is that most concepts have been done before, leading to duds like the Mary Cone, where the creators just resort to putting an object on each mercenary's head, but making it fit the form of some kind of headwear. Anyway, Gaben can stick this cone where the sun don't shine as we go to the next cosmetic. At number 4 is the Puggy Back, representing TF2's mascot cosmetics, being the worst example. If you look up tacky in the dictionary, it shows up. This cosmetic only holds value to people who call dogs puppery nose. Unsurprising as it was added in 2018 when this humor was still popular, but as time moved on, trite like this and the other cute hecking animal era nose remained as a vestigial part of TF2. Ironically dating it more than its graphics or gameplay ever could. Starting off charming with Medic's Archimedes being added, taken from his Meet the Team short. Some other less fitting birds were added, leading to some fan-favorite Halloween cosmetics. But of course, it got out of hand. Enter the Puggy Back, with some suspension of disbelief. A pet in a mercenary's pocket or on their shoulder can be overlooked. But a pug strapped to a baby carrier is a little contrived. The model doesn't match TF2's art style at all, barely resembling a pug despite being over-detailed. To illustrate this, look at the eyes, where too much of the skull area is visible. Toy dogs in reality have small beady eyes, something the creator would have realized had they looked at a picture of one. Admittedly, this is pretty nitpicky, but it's worth noting because TF2 usually exaggerates or simplifies features, as you can clearly see with the mercenary's proportions and oversized hands. If a pug were faithfully translated into TF2, would it really look like this? That's not the only issue, as the eyes aren't even placed correctly, making it resemble a boxer or French bulldog more than a pug. However, the most confounding thing is how this cosmetic got a corresponding Halloween head. At least the birds were a consistent theme, even if unnecessary. But for whatever reason, Valve decided this cosmetic was iconic enough to get its own Halloween head. It disregards the fact Engineer doesn't resemble a pug, not attempting to map his facial features to one. These cosmetics are like somebody on a forum who keeps forcing something, until they ultimately give up or are booed away. Unsuccessful, sure, but the shit stain of evidence will always be there anytime you check an archive. For TF2, that's seen it in game and being reminded of how low Valve let quality control sink. It's here to stay, even though nobody would miss it if it disappeared. Moving on. Number 3 is taken by the potassium bonnet. It's literally just a banana. One can picture it now, the creator thinking of something so hecking random and awesome sauce, so balls to the walls and epic bacon. Narwhals were swimming in an ocean of chocolate rain while he epically pondered what Team Fabulous 2 cosmetic to make next. It was during the ultimate showdown of Ultimate Destiny when he ran out of his favorite banana-flavored Soylent did it hit him, like a boss, and the rest is history. Fuck this piece of shit. This is what your average idiot who doesn't even play TF2, yet has an opinion on it, thinks it has to be. Some kind of toilet for internet humor and references, like Fortnite. This isn't a recent addition. It was added in 2015, during the Gunmetal update. Almost 11 years old. It's genuinely baffling as to how it got added. This was back when Valve were actively involved with TF2. What idiot thought this was fit for inclusion? What's frustrating is that you can't even dock the cosmetic for being poorly made. Its modeling and texturing are unironically excellent, making it somehow look less out of place in TF2's world than most recent cosmetics. The irony of it being so unfitting of TF2, yet also clearly being made with more love and care than any other cosmetic on this list cannot be understated. To top it off, the entire thing is paintable, letting people paint it stark white or pink. Much like a banana in real life, it was an early indicator of the spoilage TF2's art style was going through. It should be left to rot like the garbage it is, as we move swiftly on. At number 2 and the most depressing cosmetic on this list, is the particulate protector. Many will be thinking, it's not that bad or there's worse. They might be right in a sense. But what makes this cosmetic truly putrid is what it represents, which was a multiple-year-long period of social disorder, extreme political strife and most importantly a pandemic overblown by the media which mandated lockdowns as if it were the Black Death. Regardless of political opinions though, it wasn't a positive time for the majority of ordinary people. It spits in the face of the escapism TF2 is supposed to provide. Adding insult to injury, these kinds of cheap quilted or mesh masks weren't a thing in the 1960s. Literally being a real-world object shunted back in time to TF2's setting. It gets worse, as this cosmetic is for some reason all-class, clearly being chosen by Valve as a crate filler, proving it was made from utter apathy. Being all-class would maximize its chances of being added, especially during 2020 when it was relevant. But the world moved on. So what was it for? To roll your eyes every time you see it in-game? It seems like a raw deal for Valve, to add a cosmetic nobody likes and won't sell on the marketplace. A cosmetic that represents the peak of their neglect for TF2. Adding unnecessary political messaging to a game that has thus far avoided it. It goes to show Valve's complacency. They're encouraging these kinds of vapid cosmetics because they can't be bothered enough to maximize their own profits. It's stupid, it's saddening. Next up. Hold on. Before we go to the #1 cosmetic, here are some honorable mentions. To be honest, this cosmetic isn't that awful. But much like the ICU previously on this list, it was ruined by lacking a Halloween restriction and obnoxious overuse. In a shot to nobody is another fumble from Valve. With the help of other cosmetics the Pyro can join green team, yellow team, really any team you can think of that isn't red or blue. Much like the potassium bonnet, this cosmetic was added purely for its fun EXT random factor. More often being used to make vulgar jokes at the mercenaries' expense. And don't worry, it's all class. It looks retarded. Which perfectly describes the thought process behind its creation. Instead of making mittens for the mercenaries to wear, they put them on a headband. These are lumped together as they're all of the same hat. It was cute the first time when it was roboticized. But 5 times is too many. Does this imply that the mercenaries can see the unusual effects? Or that the creature from the original effect is a real thing and for some reason has merchandise of itself? This would be like if people started making Wendigo beanies, except the Wendigo was real and could actually kill you. They're supposed to be a reward for plain pastime, but due to how repulsive they are it's more like a punishment. Talk about a self-report. Somebody at Valve has to be a brony because otherwise this wouldn't have been added. This cosmetic's inclusion was always unsettling, like some kind of omen. Another example of absolutely rancid modeling similar to that of the Pathfinder and Justice Jones. It looks like Heavy brought a belt of Toblerones with him for emergency battlefield snacking. This is by far the worst offender of the blatant reference cosmetics, not even being tasteful or that applicable to TF2. Everybody knows who Bing Bing Wahoo is. Perhaps I'm foreshadowing, but the engineer has a similar cosmetic to this, equally garbage. Really it should speak for itself.
It's time for the moment you've been waiting for.
This is it, the train of thought. This cosmetic has collected the chaos emeralds of being steaming dogshit. You could point out how its texturing would make the original creators of TF2 cry. How stupidly vain it is for engineer to wear a hat with a miniature figure of himself. How you can make it even more unsightly with paint. How it's somehow over-detailed. Or how the possibility that a real person in real life looked at this and said, yeah it fits TF2 are all truly horrifying. But truth be told, it wouldn't matter. This cosmetic has such raw, unbridled power. It could wipe out the entire TF2 cast in a micro-instant before erasing TF2's pitiful world straight after. It solos Goku, Superman, Saitama and any verse. There is no concept of diff, being ordained by God not only as his strongest creation but his biggest rival. How does it do this you may ask? Because it owns it. Whereas other cosmetics tried to have some appeal, the train of thought disregards silly notions of quality and thus breaks free of limitation. Because it's not just a bad cosmetic. It's the bad cosmetic, which makes it the best. Wrapping around so many times, it doesn't just become a good cosmetic, it becomes the very best. The one and only train of thought.